Greetings folks, I'm back again with another really quick Foundry tutorial. I don't have much time at the minute to make full-blown videos, so I thought these quick Foundry tutorials seem to be pretty well received, so I thought I'd do another one. This one is about how to make the most out of Dungeon Draft in unison with Foundry. So Dungeon Draft is a map making software. It lets you make battle maps, and crucially it lets you export those maps as a universal virtual tabletop file, which is something that you can get a module that Foundry can read, and then it can do a bunch of really awesome integrations that really speed things up. So in this video, I'm really quickly just going to throw together a simple map in Dungeon Draft. I'm just going to make a simple little house, and then I'm going to show you how I would use that in conjunction with Foundry to create a dynamic map. So we're going to go ahead here and just grab a really simple building to throw down here. We'll just make it a little bit fancy like this, and then we're going to go ahead and throw in a door. And you can see here that in Dungeon Draft you have the option to block or allow light. We're just going to leave that as block light. We're going to throw a door there, and then we're going to grab some windows and allow the light through them. And we're just going to throw a couple of those windows throughout the house, and then immediately go in, grab some object tools. No, we're going to go back and grab the wall tool because we want some interior walls, and we'll throw one across here, and we'll throw one across here, and then grab a door. All just really basic Dungeon Draft stuff, but you'll be able to see how useful this is in conjunction with Foundry. So we're going to go ahead here and start off with just using some crates, because they're a good example of something that you might find that might block line of sight. So I'm going to go ahead here and throw some crates just in the middle of this room here. I'm just going to line them up in such a way that it looks like there's a stack of them, and then I'm going to have one on its own. And then what I'm going to do is going to grab the selection tool, highlight those that are in a stack, and over here on the left I'm going to allow them to block the light. And what that's going to do is it's going to speak to Foundry when we export this, and it's going to do some cool things with blocking of light. And then just to show how that looks, I'm going to go ahead and put a torch on the wall here, and then we're going to, and in the options for export we've got our usual file types, PNG, JPEG, but there's also universal virtual tabletop. And then we've got a couple of parameters that we can set. We can set whether or not to have the grid on or off, whether to have our lighting on or off, and then our usual sources for the different levels. So we're going to go ahead and export that. I'm going to jump into Foundry, and we're using the universal battle map importer module for this. I've already installed that, and once you've got it installed, go over to your scenes, and down here at the bottom you're going to see universal battle map import. Click that, name your scene, so we're just going to call this test 1, and then we're going to choose our file. And we're going to choose test 3, which is what we've just made, hit import, and then it will create it. And if I go ahead and move over to that scene, you can see here that it's already imported all of the important information. So our door here is available to be opened. If I go into our lighting settings, you can see up here, that is where my cursor was with the light when I went to save, so it's put one there, but it has put a light here. And if I change the lighting to darkness, you'll see better how it interacts with the light. So if I go ahead here, you can see that the windows will allow the light to pass through. This door will, this door won't because it's closed, but this door and this door will allow the light to pass through because we set the parameters to allow the light. As will the windows. If I drag the light outside, the building and all of the walls will block the light, and you can have lights coming in the windows. And then these crates that we've placed in the middle here, they will also block light. And you can see if you kind of hover over them, it creates predefined shapes for the lights to go around. And then this crate here at the bottom, that lets the light pass over it because we didn't allow that to block light. And if I go ahead and jump back into the regular view and grab a token and move an actor into the space and click on the actor, you can see that everything is clearly blocked off in the way in which you would expect. This opens up so many possibilities to be able to quickly create maps and not have to go through the process of setting up all of your walls and your lighting within Foundry, you can just do it in Dungeon Draft and have it done. And it means that you get all of the cool features that Foundry is kind of renowned for without having to do a whole lot of work. In particular, having objects block light is super handy because you don't have to manually draw around the object to make it block the light. If we go ahead into our walls tools, you can see that everything is defined, meaning that you can go in and you can change the parameters of those. You can set out your layout for your entire scene, but you can still go in and change those. So if I go ahead and click this, I can change the site restriction to be limited, update those, and then when I go back to my tokens and click on it, you can see that it has changed the site parameters for this, and you can now see kind of over parts of the crates and into them, but not past them, as you would expect from areas of terrain and things like that. And then you can see I can go and change the parameters of walls and doors and change how they perform. I can make secret doors, I can have the doors open or closed or locked. I can do all of that within Foundry, but the basis has been made by Dungeon Draft. I really hope this helps show you how you can use these two pieces of software together. I know a lot of you folks really enjoy Dungeon Draft, and this will hopefully be an example of how you can really use that program to take your VTT experience to the next level. And don't forget, I'm currently running a Kickstarter for a set of digital cheat sheets to help you learn and play 5th edition easier than ever before. There'll be a link to that campaign down in the description below. But until next time, happy gaming.